All right, so what are we talking about? Oh, the power of the dog.
Right,
We're talking
James
about
Dogs
fucking dog in this entire movie.
There's no dog.
There are two dogs. There are two dogs.
There are two dogs in the movie.
I
Sheila
thought this
pointed
was
out the
also like
dogs.
a
6 other
reboot of
dogs.
Underdog, and I want my money back.
No, it's Mountain Shadow Dog, and there's Cool Dog that hangs
Oh,
out with
fuck.
Jody McPhee, right? Jody
There's
You're
Mountain
also
Shadow
wrong,
Dog, and there's
especially you,
Biblical
Chris.
Dog.
Biblical Dog, yes, and
Biblical
And
dog.
then
Doggy Dog.
there's all of the other dogs that menace Peter throughout the movie.
That's right.
But I think
That's
there's
right.
also the dog
Chekhov's
is-
dog.
Yes,
The dog.
even-
Chekhov's
even-
Pavlov's dog.
How does
But
Chekhov
the other,
the
dog,
cow,
the other,
even
the
the
other
cow
dog
that
is
died
supposed to
from
be, which is
anthrax
not
is a
true,
dog.
but it's supposed to be like the male asshole is a dog, right?
Yeah,
Right,
Yeah, I
which
guess so.
yeah.
the tagline of this
Actually, I'm
movie
with
being
Pat
what does it
on
mean to
this.
be a
I knew
man?
that you were gonna hate
What does it mean to be a man? Yes.
Like
because it's
What? That is
attacking
actually
your,
the. Wait a minute. Wait.
you know,
That's
your
the actual
drum
tagline.
circle.
That's the tagline, yes.
What does it say?
What does it mean to be a man?
Oh, that's ew.
That's not the real tagline for this, is it really?
according to
Can you
IMDb,
really be a man without a foreskin? John can answer.
Now
that
he is
question.
a man.
we are
Anyway,
not going
go
down that
first.
road.
Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, what the hell? This
That
has
was
become-
more than I
Go
was
first.
betting we were getting into on this
Okay,
Let's
I'm
go.
out.
Show
Okay.
of hands. Show of hands.
Power
Nope.
of the dog.
16, edit out personal
Show of hands.
information. All right, got it.
Jazz
Jazz hands. That's right.
We are off the rails.
Way off the rails.
Who has foreskin and who doesn't? Still,
Okay,
show
well,
hands.
yelling
John's
about
the only
yelling
one
about
who's
foreskin.
intact.
Come on.
I've got everything I was born with.
Even your umbilical cord. You
I
keep
never
it
had
in
my
your pillow.
tonsils out. I never had my wisdom teeth. Yeah, my umbilical cord is still hanging off of my belly.
Yeah,
So
well, that's
you're
actually
not-
unusual.
you're
I'm
not
missing all sorts
Jewish,
of
John,
organs
is what you're
myself at this
saying.
point.
Not a Jew.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right,
Not
okay.
a Jew.
All right, back to the movie, which was obviously
Hey,
fascinating
New
to review.
Zealand is
Oh, go
Steve
back.
Benedict
there's a lot-
Cumberbatch weaponized his
there's a-
banjo.
There's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of interesting things to say about this film.
One
But
of
we
the
should also say
Jared, do tell.
spoilers because this is a movie that you could spoil. So if any idiot
Yeah.
is watching this video,
Okay, they're gay.
put up a
they're gay.
spoiler alert.
Are
Spoiler
they?
alerts.
Are they?
Or just
They're so
No.
gay.
this
Are
discussion. First thing I'll say about this film is that
Yeah.
it's first of all it's beautiful, of course, but
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I love a slow build.
Yeah.
But
Doesn't
I
look
want my
anything
slow
like
build.
Montana.
But I want my slow build to have a payoff.
If you don't think this movie had a payoff, you
I
didn't
think this-
watch it right.
This
I don't
movie
think
has
this movie.
payoff.
No, it does have a payoff. It's just a very fucking so anticlimactic payoff.
Also,
yeah.
I think there.
You wanted
I read-
fun
well,
of
it does
games.
happen off screen. I'll
Yeah.
give him that.
I did.
You-
I
you-
did read one review that called Jane Campion's style unhurried, and man, it is completely unhurried. The first half.
I was
is-
never bored with this. I
was.
didn't.
I was
Oh
never
my!
bored.
I just
I
again.
I was
wasn't
trying to
bored
figure
either.
out where are we
25
going
minutes
with
in,
this.
fell dead asleep. Had to wake up, start the film over, and just watch the first 5 minutes again.
I'll tell you
Huh?
what I'll tell you. I'll
Not
tell you
that's
what
because
I-
you start movies at 11:30.
Oh,
But I'll
that's,
tell you what I
this is
want-
closer to
I'll
midnight.
tell you
but
what I
yes, I get your
wanted.
point.
I'll tell you what I wanted from this movie though is I wanted that young boy and Benedict to like jerk each other off. Fuck.
Wow, that's quite a
One-
That's
catharsis.
the clip.
Yeah.
Yes, I guess it is. We write the
That's
time
what I
down
wanted.
here.
But you know what? In 1925 in Montana, that little moment where they're sharing
Yeah, the cigarette,
that's
I
as
know.
close as they're gonna
Which was
get.
beautiful.
That's
it's
it.
beautiful. It's
That's
beautiful.
the sex scene.
And that's
That
the
is
sex
beautiful.
scene. And that is the moment where Cody McPhee's character kind of goes from being the victim to taking control of the situation. And I thought that was one of the best parts of this whole movie.
In
No,
retrospect,
the
you
part-
see all through the movie where he is like taking power, and
Yeah,
and
the
Benedict Cumberbatch's character doesn't even know it, and that to me is one of the amazing.
When
things
he
about
when
this
he
movie.
drops to the one knee
Okay. I think
and
you
he
did right,
said
John.
and he calls him his name instead of sir.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then
he's already setting it in motion.
yeah,
Yeah.
because what was he doing before that? He was reading the
he's
book.
Eve and all about Eve, huh?
He was reading the
Yeah.
reading the book.
Okay. I'll
And
concede on the,
he got to the anthrax part in the book.
Yeah.
And then what did he do? He went and he cut the fucking skin off of that cow.
Right.
Like he's already in charge by that
Okay,
point.
so let me
Like,
That
let me
was
No,
No,
that's
he is
backtrack
the
that.
one who killed. what's his
I'll
name?
backtrack then. I'll concede on them having a sexual moment. But what I would have liked to see more than Benedict just kind of like flittering about with Buck Henry's scarf or whatever.
Bronco
Bronco Henry.
Bronco Henry.
Thank you.
Buck Henry.
The
Buck
guy
Henry.
did get smart.
Bronco Henry.
Bronco Henry. That's like that is a.
I can't believe I didn't remember that because they say it like 80,000
I
times.
know, Bronco,
And it is
whatever.
absolutely
And focus
is.
in on that plaque
I
about
know.
80,000 times.
Bronco
too.
Henry.
Ad
And it says-
memoriam.
And it's also a monogrammed scarf, by the way, BH.
Yeah, BH, and it's also such a goddamn porn star name.
It's one letter.
Yeah, so
You know what I mean?
forgive me for
Once again,
First of all,
this
it's a
fucking
bullshit.
podcast is
First of all,
everything
that's a
about
bull-
bullshit.
writing.
that's a bullshit name, but also like, and then why do they say it so many fucking times? And then also when he's in the water, like frolicking about with his fucking scarf, like that dude, he should have been jerking off. I want to see some fucking jizz hitting
Well,
that
he
fucking
He
scarf.
got his hand down his pants.
He
What do you
did. He
want?
did that.
Yeah.
He did that earlier. That was.
Yeah,
That was.
but they don't
I
show
think I
it.
got
They
the
don't show
point.
anything.
That's
And
what-
Jane Campion is not afraid of cock, so I don't know what's going on.
I'll give you
here.
that. I'll give you that. But,
No, but-
that's-
So you're saying it was a choice on her part.
I mean, on a weird fucked up level, Benedict Cumberbatch's character is a tragic figure.
Oh, he's definitely a
Sure.
tragic figure.
It's like
Yes.
this is a guy that cannot
Anybody
be,
who went
this
to
is a guy that cannot be who
fucking
he
Harvard.
is.
Not only is he a
Cannot
tragic figure, I don't
truly
think he was that much of a
accept
dick.
who
To be
he
honest, like, are
is,
these people so?
cannot
Of
act
course you
upon who
wouldn't.
he is. And so it turns into like a self-loathing individual that takes all that pent-up
But he
frustration and
wasn't,
directs
like-
it at everybody around him.
Sure. Yeah.
But I have a problem with everyone thinking he's like the devil. He was not that bad.
No.
He's a dick. So what?
He's
dude?
no, I don't.
He's
no,
an
I just like the
asshole.
bully.
He's definitely an
I think
asshole.
what this movie did that I thought was admirable was it did a pretty good job of breaking down everybody's. You kind of knew where everybody was coming from.
yeah.
Like,
No,
she
he
did a
was.
pretty
I,
good job.
I would
Like,
call him
your
more of a
motivation. Your motivation, like
Yeah.
these were fully rounded characters
Yeah.
that had arcs
Mhm.
that went through transformations through the course of this movie, and it affected their behavior in a very
Except for the
real,
brother.
Yeah. No, Jesse Plemons.
obvious
He
and
was.
clear way.
But his
Well, the
character
problem
was
is
being
that
slow and
Jesse
steady.
Plemons is missing from the middle third of the
Yeah.
movie.
No,
He just
Also,
gets
I
the
don't
fuck
believe-
appears.
Also, I
if
don't
not
believe
for his
biologically that
absence,
Jesse
there are
Plemons
certain
and
other
fucking
things
Benedict
he's
Cumberbatch
been
could be
there.
related ever.
Okay.
That dude
Ever.
spends the entire
It's the
movie
worst
running
casting in
around
the
trying to
world.
keep
Bailman's
the
kid.
between all these other characters.
Yeah.
He was our
For
slow
him
and
to
steady.
vanish
He's
is the
he's
only way
a he's
to
a
have it.
he's a
you've got an
linchpin character. He's supposed
You've
to be
got an
slow and steady.
overweight redhead
Mhm.
who is supposed to be biologically brothers with a
Yeah.
skinny ass brunette. It just doesn't.
All right,
My
hold on,
two
hold on.
stepsons, one
Yeah.
was a blonde.
Let me
one was-
let me jump into what Jared's saying, especially what John said. John said earlier that he thought this film was about the kid, I forgot his name, the
Cody McPhee.
Peter.
yeah,
Cody
yeah.
Smith, Peter, right?
Whatever.
Peter, yeah,
Okay.
him kind of coming to his own and finding his power in this family structure. What I
like
saw,
that.
what I saw
Those
was
teenage boys do.
Cumberbatch, he's a menacing character, but he's kind of in his own little world. He's kind of ineffective.
He's
very
not
ineffective
that
on this.
menacing.
He's
to
not.
me.
This film is about the rise of a homicidal maniac.
Yeah.
This
So
is-
can
yeah.
It's
That's
a
the
origin
thing.
story
It's
to a
about him.
supervillain,
The
right?
homicidal
Scott?
maniac
You're looking
coming to
for
his
a
own finally.
sociopath.
Yeah.
Can-
Oh,
yeah,
I
can
like that
compare
so
it?
much
Jared,
better.
he is menacing to the 3 or 4 people at the center of this movie
Right.
for whom, like again,
No. I think Scott's right. He's not menacing. He's a jerk, and the real menace is this little young guy.
Yes,
who's
that's
coming
exactly right.
but
No, you're not wrong. You're not right. And the
can I-
movie
can-
begins.
sorry, can-
Yeah,
Benedict
go,
Cumberbatch-
Tad.
Benedict-
Tad's dying to
Benedict
say
Cumberbatch
something.
is just an asshole. He's not an overt
He's not a murderer.
No, and he's also not even that bad. Like he just rides people.
He's
It's
not
like,
Robert
fuck
De
off.
Niro either.
No, he's
Say
not
what?
that bad. Yes, Tad, please take it.
Tad,
plus
go.
both to extreme extent.
So the thing about this movie is that the character of Peter is actually the one who's in charge the entire time. Like
Yeah, he's
from
the
the
owner, yeah.
very beginning,
Mhm.
he's the one that's in charge the entire time. But also, like you guys mentioned it earlier, like, oh, this is a story about gay cowboys. No, it's not. He's not gay. He's not anything except for controlling.
And a
Like,
homicidal
he
maniac.
Is no, he's
not
a
a maniac.
sociopath.
The young kid?
Like
No, the
he-
young kid is definitely.
He's not a
gay.
maniac.
he literally realizes, oh, this guy who I hate is gay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ingratiate myself to him via that. Like, I'm going to.
So wait, you're saying that the young guy
And then
does
poison.
not identify as gay in this film?
I'm not.
No,
I'm with
he's not
Tad. I think
anything.
I could go either way on that. I don't know that he is or
I
isn't.
know those.
I think
those
Tad's put his finger on an important point. It might not matter.
No,
It might not
he's
matter
not.
what his sexuality is
Like,
because
sex isn't his.
What he knows
No,
is this
but,
guy
okay,
is
you
super
might be
fucking
right.
mean to
You
my
might be
mom.
right.
and
You might be
turning her
right
into a
about he's
drunk.
not.
Wow.
You might be
Right.
right about he's not sexual, but I think the fact that we sort of assume or know as an audience member, and also as all the other characters in the film, that he is a gay boy.
Right.
They call him a Nancy boy, which is not means gay.
That,
Yeah.
I think that is important because I think that when
Well, they call him the F word too.
Well,
Yeah, true.
when Benedict's character reveals that he is gay in not so many words, that's a moment, and that's a
Right,
That's
but
a
But the moment is Peter realizing how he can have power over him.
right.
sure, but also Peter realizing that okay, yes, I've got your number, and I knew it, and I fucking.
But the
knew
thing is, his sexuality is murder.
No,
You know what?
No, that's not like that's not flippant. That's not a joke.
No, I know
Like,
what you're talking about.
literally,
This is kind of like a pathology,
Yeah,
basically.
That's his
Yeah,
identity.
Yeah.
You-
he catches the
that's
rabbit.
Clever,
He shows
that's
it to
clever
his mom.
sounding, but I think it's more than
Mom
that.
thinks
No,
the
he
rabbit's
catches
cute
the
and wants to
rabbit.
do
He
the
shows
rabbit.
it to his mom,
Uh-huh.
and then he fucking kills it.
And takes
And
her apart.
then
Mhm.
right, and then he finds that hole that he can get into Paul's life, and he does
By accident.
by accident,
Bigger than
sure,
Paul.
but he still knows it, and he gets into that, and then they have that moment where they're moving all of the logs off the pile,
Right.
and he pulls the rabbit out, and he's like, "Oh, the rabbit, it's so cute." And it's like, "Well, you should put it out of its misery." And
Yeah,
he's
broke
like,
his little
"Well,
leg.
I don't know."
Without even
Snap.
blinking.
Yeah, he just does it.
Right.
Mind you,
Right.
I'll agree with you, Ted.
His
except for-
sexuality is murder.
except for
like-
one detail,
It's like a
and that
serial
detail
killer.
is during the big.
Yeah, he's
You
a
might be
sociopath.
right.
No, but during the big dinner scene, he makes all those little paper flowers to go
Yeah.
on the table.
Right.
Now, it's like if they wasn't gay, then they were trying to kind of throw that idea out a little bit. You know what I mean?
At
Right,
the
but he
beginning,
makes-
but they
But it also
drop
could
it.
also mean he's just a fancy boy from the big city who likes making little flower things.
He also
it could be
likes
simple as that.
dissecting animals. He
That's
wants
true.
to
Right,
be a
it's a
doctor.
dissection more.
But the
than
thing
a-
is that doing that set him
Murder.
up in the eyes of
Real
everybody else
murder.
of looking, you know.
I think that the character moment that reveals what he is, if those other actions don't, is when they're sitting there. It's during the scene where the rabbit gets a broken leg and he kills the rabbit.
Uh-huh.
He's with Benedict Cumberbatch's character, and he says, "Was it my dad thought that I was too strong, or my mother thought I was too strong?" His dad hung
Something like
himself. My mother thought I was too
Hey.
strong, and Benedict Cumberbatch laughs. It's like, this little wimpy kid is telling me this, and it's like actually true.
Mhm.
His mother was afraid of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'll just say it.
for good reason.
You can edit this part out later, Scott. So I spent sophomore and junior year in Durango, Colorado, and now
Okay.
I was a very skinny, underweight, small for my size. I mean, at that point, I think I was like 5'8",
Sissy.
5'8", 99 pounds.
But you're like 6 something now.
Yeah, my growth spurt in senior year was nuts.
Same
But
here.
I spent 2 years in Colorado surrounded by cowboy redneck types calling me the F word 40 times a day for 2 solid years.
Mm.
By virtue of a number of things that some of this I brought this upon myself. But so when I watched that kid, awkward, not really fitting in his own skin yet, the clothes don't fit. There's something going on behind the eyes, but you can't quite figure out what it really is yet. But it's like,
Mm.
I look like this, I have this awkwardness about me, and I'm surrounded by all these high testosterone cowboys.
Yeah.
Like, so I could totally get maybe he's gay, maybe he's not. They're just all calling him the F word because that's an easy label to put on a guy that looks like that in the middle of this environment.
Yeah.
Right.
But
right.
as John points out, as you go through the course of the movie, you start to realize like, oh no, he's got something totally different going on.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and that's also what
he
Tad was
can
saying.
walk through the
Not
victim
necessarily
door,
that.
but he is not the victim.
Right.
And little by little, he's
Correct.
playing at those things
Mhm.
and gets control of the situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he
And
was,
Ted says he owns the movie from the beginning. Tad said Tad, you said he owns the movie from the beginning. He literally does, because that's his voiceover at the beginning of the movie, saying something like, "What kind of man wouldn't protect his own mother?" And it took me a while to decide who
And
said
that's
that.
the last scene of the movie.
Well, this is
Holy
why,
shit! Does he
this
protect
is
his
why
mother?
I'm gonna say this is why yelling about movies is good. Is you guys are you're changing
No,
my
I have
opinion
to
of this
think
movie.
about this a lot.
No, you're like I like this movie a lot more now. Like really.
Well, okay.
I want to
That's
bring
happened
up
to me
two-
too.
I want to
We flipped over a lot of stones today.
I mean, I already liked it a little bit, but like I'm liking it a lot now.
Yeah.
I want to bring up two quick things. The first one is fuck yeah, Keith Carradine. I love seeing
Oh,
Keith
yeah,
Carradine
right?
and
Yeah.
stuff.
This was like a Fargo TV show reunion in a lot of ways.
when the last one was the fall reunion. Like it was amazing.
That too.
We had- yeah.
I still don't think Jesse Plemons and Benedict could be brothers, but okay, yeah. Go
No,
ahead.
Again,
Also-
mailman's
Matt
kid.
Damon's
It's fine.
brother. And why haven't they done that yet?
Also, the shooting in Rohan was really nice. You know, they actually
So maybe the
Also,
old
you guys
lady
do it-
they go
slept
out the
around.
Rohirrim and get all this area.
Yeah,
they,
right.
they,
That's what I said,
put the
Mailman's
castle
kid.
in though.
But here's just the thing too about like I think Benedict is a good actor. I know he is, but when he's
Oh,
sometimes when people who are British do an American accent,
His American accent
overdo-
sucks
I
ass.
wasn't 100% on him in this.
They overdo it. Like everything is
Oh
so
man.
specifically this.
Hit the
Like,
hit
they
the
do,
R's
like,
too.
this
They hit the
thing
R's
where
too
it's
hard.
Oh my
like-
god, his accent was so bad.
Well, I just thought that he was like doing a little too much, and we're like, there's no one who in America that actually talks like that, dude. Like,
No. I should recommend.
it's sort of like I'm sure it's the same when Americans try and do British, and British people are like, "What the
Whoa.
fuck
Well,
are you
yeah,
doing?"
because you overcompensate for
Right.
what it actually
Americans
is.
doing Americans
That's
doing
right, Jim.
British
Like
accents do-
you overdo it, and I thought Benedict was kind of overdoing it.
it's a generic American accent. Like it's
Yeah.
or a generic British accent.
It was
like,
better than mid-Atlantic accent,
well,
like they
but
would
you
have
know,
done in the 30s.
you know what's interesting though
Fish on
is
Fridays.
like if you ever watch House, like he's so good at actually
He's-
doing an
Yeah.
American
I did
so
not
accent.
realize
good.
he was British because
He's
I never
so
saw
good.
the Hugh
Yeah.
and Laurie
No,
thing.
I think he's Australian.
No, he's
Yeah,
British.
He's British.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
They're-
is
You
he?
they're-
saw one of the Carry On films, those British comedies called Carry On Cowboy.
Yeah.
That was like all filmed in like a gravel quarry in Surrey, but it was supposed to be the Wild West, right? And all the British actors hit the R's so hard it hurt your ears.
But if you can do a mid-Atlantic accent,
Uh.
like if you can do a pure mid-Atlantic accent, like you can sound American because
True.
there's a lot of Americans who trace their roots back there.
Mhm.
Like, but the other thing I wanted to bring up is that I looked at the IMDb trivia for this, and this is one of the funniest trivia things I've ever seen. It's about Benedict Cumberbatch.
Hmm.
He also started chain smoking. Although he had smoked in real life for years, he felt sick after each take when he smoked rolled up cigarettes. He went so far with the chain smoking that he got nicotine poisoning 3 times.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Which reminds me of one of my favorite quotes of all time, which is Laurence Olivier to Dustin Hoffman.
Yes.
Yeah.
My dear boy,
Try
why don't you
acting.
just
Try
try acting?
acting.
Also, they filmed stuff in Los Angeles County. You can't use nicotine anymore. They use cloves. It's like against the law. to
Gross.
smoke- They,
To
yeah, I
ma-
know.
to
They
have
don't- it's
actors
against-
smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, they don't smoke cigarettes in LA productions. They have to smoke cloves.
I love
Well,
If you guys haven't seen it, find the effects reel for this movie.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah, it's
god!
online. It's
Really?
really good.
Holy shit!
Is it all
You
just
think
house
of, okay,
related?
you know, you think of like Dune or Star Wars or something. That's you want to see the effects reel. There's so much CGI and compositing in this movie. You would not
Really?
believe it.
Just to make it look pretty, basically.
Well, that's
No,
just
more
like
than
they do
that,
it.
like-
Is any of it
That's what
8
they
guys
do.
carrying a piano? Because I love 8 guys carrying a piano.
I think that was practical.
Pianos are heavy.
No,
I
like-
know,
yeah,
but
like
but
that
8
house,
guys carrying
Chris.
a piano, and they go all the way around the house. Like
One,
it's
one other thing about
Hey, who was
we're
the
talking
So
effects
about-
Chris, that house behind you, that snow on the ground,
All
probably those
fake?
mountains,
All
All
fake.
fake.
the whole fucking thing.
one
No,
of the-
no, that was that Weta doing the effects.
Good question.
Yeah, because it's shot in New Zealand. I'm thinking it probably got.
Yeah,
discounts
probably.
on-
I'll put
yeah.
the link up if I've
But-
still
yeah.
got.
So look
Yeah,
at
it
the
was like-
okay.
it's
So look at
it's so
look at
funny
what's
now.
happening.
Jared mentioned the Malik movie because
Yes.
they
Days of
went so
Heaven, yeah.
far as to
So
build the
so
house
okay,
and
yeah,
build-
yeah. So check out. So check out. Thank you, Chris.
What, Chris?
Check out
I missed
the
it.
house that they were in, or with the restaurant. Okay, so yes, it was funny because that week that you did the Malik film,
Days of Heaven.
Yeah.
Days of Heaven, I watched it again. I hadn't seen it for a long time, and I can't remember if I was on that episode, but I loved that fucking movie. I do love that movie. And then I watched this one like almost literally right after, and the only thing I want to say about this comparison is that what was that? What was the year of that film?
Filmed
70
in 77.
1926.
It came out in 79, but it's filmed in 76.
There you
Okay,
go.
so so 76, 77.
Yeah.
And then I'm watching Power of the Dog, which is beautiful. I mean, absolutely beautiful. Like Chris said, it's like
Horizon
porn. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm watching Days of Heaven right before that, and I'm not joking. This is just an aside. Film, really, really good film.
Mhm.
Looks 10,000 times better still than 4K, 6K, whatever K. It doesn't fucking matter, dude. Like Days of Heaven still looks better
There were
than
many
this
moments
movie.
in this,
Like,
scenes where I felt like there was a cyclorama at some
Yeah,
point.
we had that effect. We're
Mhm.
talking about this in Belfast. Maybe this film looks too clean.
Well,
It's
no, it's not.
very
I'm not criticizing this picture because I think this picture looks beautiful.
It looks really good.
I'm
but
just saying that there's nothing like really, really good film. Like when I was watching Days of Heaven, I was just like,
You know
oh,
what? This
God.
might also relate back to the CGI and the compositing that was done, in that you can make things maybe look too good. It's like,
Yeah.
well, I wish that mountain was taller. I wish there was a little more snow on the ground. You
Yeah.
can fucking tweak everything, and
I wish there were more
and they-
cows out there. you know.
they do. Oh,
But
watch the reel,
But
man.
again,
Yes.
I think this picture is beautiful. I'm just saying there's a
You could
thing
have
about
added a
if,
couple
if,
of
if any of you understand what I'm saying in terms of like
no,
I know
yeah.
what you
You
mean.
know what else is
There's a
you
beautiful?
see a
There's
real
a
photograph,
luminosity,
you see a
no.
real photograph, and
Right.
if you looked at a real photograph from of your mom in the 70s versus one you took on your phone yesterday, you understand what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like,
There's a luminosity to
She'd be a lot
photochemical
older.
imaging that you don't get in digital
well,
imaging.
not just that, but I just
Uh,
mean
let me jump back on the rails here for a sec. But I want to comment what Jared said about comparing this and Days of Heaven. The Power of the Dog is like Days of Heaven with like a script that's like 20 times more complex than that.
Oh,
Yes.
fuck yeah.
One thing that strikes me is like Days of Heaven is how simple the story is.
Yes.
Real
This is an
basic.
extremely complex story. I've still not figured out entirely.
I don't know if I
And it's
100%
ambiguous. You can interpret it in several
Yes,
different ways.
yes.
I don't know if I
Yeah.
100% agree with that because I think that the beauty about a film like Days of Heaven and what Malik was doing back then was he did have an overall story, but he realized which parts he needed to show you.
Yeah, maybe.
And so he would only like literally tell you. So what he would do specifically in that film is say you would hear information that you would need to know.
Right.
And then that's it. And then he would show you the next scene. So you would have to hear about this, the homeowner is sick. Okay. You would have to hear about that. And then he would show you later something else. Like I don't think you're wrong in saying maybe it's simple, but
No, it's a
but he had
story. It's
there's a
very simple.
there's a very
There's
sort
no
of visionary,
twist at the
specific,
end of
dreamy
Days of
way
Heaven.
of telling a story that he did there, where you got all the information that you needed, but yet you felt like, wow, this is just a weird ethereal feeling.
Well, unless you're making a left-handed argument that Jane Campion needs an editor, and Jane Campion really needs an editor. I mean, that film is long, man.
Wait,
No, I'm just saying, I'm not.
I-
3 hours and 3
it was-
minutes.
I think this could have been a 90-minute film. It would have been snappy as fuck. It really
I'm
would.
not disagreeing that this story is not complex, but I am saying that
More
I think Days of
complex.
Heaven and what Malik does is actually more complex than you think on the surface level, because I think he's really thinking about how he's going to give you enough information and when, so that you can still go to the
But
end
that's
of the
true,
picture.
but not
I think the
particularly in that
story is
film.
less complex. The way he chose to tell it,
Yeah,
it transcends that.
yeah.
Yeah,
All I
yeah,
can think
exactly.
about while watching this movie is how much I want to visit New Zealand.
No
The New Zealand Tourism Board fucking won me over the course of this film. It's like, yep, let's go.
Although I
wanna
could've
see
used-
this
Before
you know
Lord of the
what?
Rings, Lord of the Rings didn't do that.
I know. I
No.
could have used a
No,
tree. I
this-
could have used a tree or two.
No, the British
Oh.
fucking took him.
Oh
Well-
man, I was wondering where they all
Well,
went.
there was tree scenes.
Where? There's scrub.
Oh, when she goes and trades the hides with the Native Americans,
Yeah,
there's
there's-
trees.
there's
Yeah,
like three
we talk
trees.
about
Around the
so
house.
we-
Trees.
let's talk
Naked
about
cover patches.
Oh, let's get
running-
it. I want to get into that a little bit because that was a fascinating thing about watching someone descend into alcoholism like that. Why do you
Yeah, let's
think?
talk about- let's
why
talk
do
about
you
the
think that
performances.
happened with her? What do you think the
Well,
impetus was?
'cause she was
now,
powerless.
knowing what happened in the book that Tad mentioned earlier, it's
Mhm.
totally clear to me why.
Well, let's not bring anything from outside. Bring it from inside. What do
Okay,
you
from the
think
inside,
organically?
from the inside,
Everyone's
he
fucking
got-
terrible to
he got
her.
under her
Yeah.
skin. There are two things going on, right? So, like, there's a part of me that sort of felt like maybe on some weird level she was uncomfortable with the amount
Also,
of
let's drink
attention
about
she
this
was getting
alcoholism
from-
conversation.
But also, wait,
from her
before
new
you keep going,
husband.
Chris. Before you keep going, Chris. Remember? Do you guys remember when she says, "I don't like it when they drink. I wish they weren't
Yes.
drinking."
Yeah, at the
Right
beginning
away.
she was a teetotaler.
And then she becomes an alcoholic. I didn't even think about that. That's so fucking backwards.
yeah,
Well,
it is.
You're also assuming she was telling the truth at that point.
Or she could be
She was because she was saying, "I don't want rowdy motherfuckers in my place."
Well,
Yeah,
also
but
her
also-
Right, but
husband.
that doesn't mean
I'm
she's
also
not
a
drinking herself.
closet alcoholic.
Also, her husband killed himself because he became an alcoholic.
But
Like,
that's outside the story. You got to talk
no,
about that.
no, that's in the.
No, that's inside the story.
But
That's-
what-
I have to
at what
drink
point?
about this.
Okay,
I have
just
to drink
refresh
on
my
this.
memory. What point was that mentioned?
He tells
It-
Jodie McPhee's character tells the
The
story.
boy mentions it when he's
Oh, okay,
talking to
thank
his
you. Sorry, I just
Cumberbatch.
wanted to get caught up there.
Yeah.
I think there was a couple of things I think that were getting under her skin. One was Benedict Cumberbatch character, and the
Oh,
other
yeah.
is that she had a
course.
very clear level of discomfort with, I think, maybe initially the attention she was getting from her new husband,
Yeah.
pressure he put on her to have basically play the piano in front of the governor.
Yeah, but okay, that was weird. Why wasn't she would want to play, but she like froze up. Like that was really bizarre.
She didn't want to
No,
play.
she knew that she
didn't
Everybody
want
knows
to.
Showed the
She's
Because
not
she
a
performance
could, it's
from
because she
a
couldn't or
stranger.
she didn't
No.
want to.
No,
She
she
didn't want
couldn't.
to.
She's not a performer. She's like a part-time player.
I
She does
saw
it- she's
her
for
as a
fun.
fairly fragile individual.
Yeah.
She's got some things going forward that she can run the kitchen and keep this little thing going and cook for 9 people at a time, and it's not a total disaster.
Right.
But beyond that,
It helps to have a cook.
right?
Yeah. A little bit.
And by the way, we haven't talked about this yet, but I think her performance is actually probably my favorite in the
She's
movie.
friggin'
No, it's
great
really
in it.
good. She does a
really
fantastic
good.
job.
I
Well,
think she is maybe
I
the
still
standout.
see her as a 12-year-old vampire.
When you
Yeah,
go
she gets
go
lost
watch,
in
And that's her
She
best
gets
performance,
lost.
Jim. That's her best performance.
Jimbo, watch the second season of Fargo with her and the other guy.
Oh yeah,
Jesse Plemons,
it's
oh, so good.
It's
Oh.
so
She's-
good.
nuts in that,
Uh,
borderline psychotic.
Yeah,
and
so
just
good.
totally nailed it.
Actually, in some ways, they kind of reprised their characters from Fargo in this movie.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Jesse
A little bit, but I really do think that she's
Well, it's easy
pretty
since it takes
spectacular in
place
this
in the
film.
West.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're married.
And they're
And they're
married.
now married.
Married.
I think
Right.
she's pretty phenomenal here.
She's good at. I thought she was really good. I think. I mean, universally, I thought the performance is great. None of you guys have mentioned the music. Johnny Greenwood, guitar player for Radiohead, just like the "There Will Be Blood" soundtrack. I think he nailed
No, it's
this.
very nice. It was very
Yeah.
nice.
I wanna say something-
90%
I
of
wanna-
the music is good, and the 10% that
The music is not memorable.
just
Like
fucking rips me out of the movie.
There Will Be
Like-
Blood is a more memorable score.
Actually,
but
it's
yes,
not.
still
It's not a
good.
bad
Yeah.
comp. It's not a bad comp for this film because it's kind of like the center. That's kind of some pleasant character.
There will be blood in this. Oh,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
very
they're
nice.
very close. in
I
some
want to
ways.
say something about the score because I watched this and then I this week I also watched Spencer
Mhm.
with Kristen Stewart.
Oh
and
yeah, I saw that in the theater, dude.
that's
Spencer for
another
Hire?
that's another Johnny Greenwood score, and my reaction to it was exactly the same. So I love Power of the Dog, but my quibble with this is probably the score. Too much, too loud. And that's exactly the way I reacted to Spencer. It's like
Nice.
if you're thinking about the music as much as I was thinking about the music in Spencer and in Power of the Dog, you're not doing a good job. I think Johnny Greenwood's a talented guy.
Too
and I
loud.
think,
Too loud is not a problem with the performance. It's a problem with the editing.
okay, but I just think it's written
That's right, though.
to
Someone
draw
decides
attention to
put that
itself.
shit turned up that, and you know that as well as I do, Johnny.
Yeah, yes, but
Someone decides to turn that shit up this fucking loud, and it's not the composer and it's not
Yeah.
the director.
agreed. You're not wrong, but this music does very much want to call attention to itself at times.
And
You want
that's
to
when
argue
Jane-
there's too many
well,
bagpipes
and then
in
Jane
Dune? We can
Campion-
argue
Jane
there's too
Campion
There are
should
too
have
many
said-
bagpipes in Dune.
Well, and Jane Campion should have said, no, back that off. Pull
It needed to be
back.
dialed down. It needed
Yeah.
to be dialed down.
Because
I just thought it was too foreground. It was too foreground.
We're not going to argue that Johnny Greenwood is not amazing. He's fucking amazing. But we're going to say turn it down if you need to.
Yeah, it's just too. Like I said, it's too much. It could have been done with a lighter touch.
Sure.
I wasn't even.
I
aware
agree.
there
I
was
agree
music.
on most films, John, with that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, really.
What, Jim?
I
You weren't
wasn't
aware-
even aware there was music. It could have been all silent as far as I was concerned.
Oh, in this
actually
one, there's
really
some
not- I would-
really
I would- I
Jim's
would-
dissonant.
right on that, and I love that.
I'm with
There's some
you,
really
Jim.
dissonant music in it.
I'm with you, Jim. It's kind of like this
Wow.
Western. It's kind of
Yeah.
a Western soundtrack kind of washed over me. I don't remember. a
What?
single
My
thing
goal
about it.
Yeah.
someday is to make a film with no
Seriously, I
music.
didn't
Well,
remember
it's like
a
Van
thing about it.
Morrison. I've never.
Uh,
I mean, I recognize some of the tunes, but I've never been a fan. And
There
it's
are
just
some-
like,
We've
okay,
talked
so
about
they're
this before.
playing
Like,
old
there's movies
music
without
over the
music
top of
in
this
it.
movie.
Like The Birds has no music in it at all.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
it has
this-
some
this isn't-
diegetic music, but besides that,
This isn't
yes.
like that Nine Inch Nails dude who makes soundtracks saying, "Look at me, listen to me, listen to me." Yeah, you know, it wasn't like that at all.
Yeah, Soundgarden.
Anyway, so where are we?
I thought this was a good movie. I don't like. It's getting a lot of attention. Got the most Oscar nominations. I don't know that it's best
Well,
movie of the year, but I
I-
like it a lot.
I was this before our conversation, you guys. You made me this.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, that's,
Love it.
That's great.
Yeah, that has happened to me with other films, you guys. So that is something to say about yelling about movies.
No, I'm being tad here. It's too long. I just
Oh.
liked it.
I didn't say shit about how long it was.
No, he's saying that, but your reputation, your history. Your
No,
history.
I know.
Own your tell. Own your tell.
No,
It's too long.
Okay, I'm like this.
I thought it was
Like this.
terrific. It's one of my favorite movies of this year.